manager for Star Wars The Old Republic. Hang on, Amber's echoing at me. Wait for it. While she mutes it. Now she's fixing it. Amber's in the room also. There we go. All right. And welcome to our live stream event around Game Update 2.2.
This is why live is awesome.
This is why live is always awesome. So we're here to talk about a little bit about Game Update 2.2, which Bruce will talk a little bit more about in a second, and what else we have coming forward. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, who you are, and what you do at BioWare.
Okay. I'm Jeff Hickman. I'm the executive producer for Star Wars The Old Republic. And this is
Bruce McClain, senior producer on Star Wars The Old Republic.
So a little bit about how this is going to work today. The stream will be about 30 minutes. As many of you know, we announced the stream on Friday, and you guys were able to submit questions to us through either Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, or the forums, or the live stream, which Amber is monitoring off to the side. We've been gathering up your questions, and we have a bunch of we have answers for a lot of the questions that you guys have been asking. But we figured before we start into that, Bruce, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about Game Update 2.2?
With pleasure. So the focus of Game Update 2.2 is guilds. It's really a guild-focused update. We have exciting new content for well-geared guilds to tackle. We have new Elder Game crafting options, and we have improved guild bonuses. We also have a unified fleet chat channel for every faction, and this is the first time, so the centerpiece of Game Update 2.2 is really the Nightmare operations. This is the first time we've released this much Nightmare content at once. In order to let guilds cut their teeth on it in a normal progression format, what we're doing is we're releasing the first one, which is Nightmare Mode Terror from Beyond of the Planet Assassin with Game Update 2.2. And then 4 weeks later, we're releasing Nightmare Mode Scum and Villainy on the planet Darvanis. That'll be Game Update 2.2.2. And our current target date for that is 4 weeks after today, or tomorrow.
July
10th.
It's worth noting that Game Update 2.2 was supposed to go live tomorrow. We found some bugs with the Nightmare mode that we needed to tweak before it goes live. Of course, we're not going to release the update until it's at quality. We are working very hard right now to get that update out as soon as possible.
It needs to be this week, Bruce.
He's my boss. You heard it.
All right, so with
we'll
that,
do our best.
So now that we know a little bit about 2.2, Jeff, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what's beyond 2.2?
Wow. You know, I know Bruce went out on a limb, I think, last week or the week before last week, and was talking probably more than we've ever talked about dates and about the things that are coming up. And we're trying to do that with the players more than we ever have. It's important to us, and we hear you guys loud and clear when you talk about us not giving you enough information. Try to understand, it's hard for us because we hate to make a promise that we can't keep, and the development process is very fluid. As you can see, we're going to delay the patch that was supposed to come out tomorrow morning because of bugs that we found. But we're trying to be as transparent as we can be about this stuff. So just to reiterate some of the things that Bruce has said and maybe give you a little bit more, I think there's a lot of things that you can look forward to this summer and into the early fall. We've got so we got double XP weekends coming up.
Yep.
I think you're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So the double XP weekends are, they start June 22nd
right,
and continue through July 7th. The July 4th one is actually we're starting that one earlier. So if you're on a 4-day weekend, you can take part in that. So, it's going to be very hot summer. We anticipate more global warming. That's not a statement on behalf of the corporation or anything. Anyways, if it's a hot heat wave and you need to stay cool and stay inside, we want to support you.
Absolutely.
Stay indoors, play Star Wars, level up.
We'll be doing that here in
Level up
Texas.
your alts.
Yeah, and in all reality, when we did the double XP weekends previously, they've been very, very popular, and so we thought that would be a good thing to do again for all of you guys. And then you look forward to version 2.3, which I think you've actually given them a date on that, haven't you?
Yep, August 6th.
Let's say it's August 6th. Yep. Now again, we're going to try really hard to hit that date, but we will not launch before it's at a quality level that we feel comfortable with.
Definitely.
But you can look forward to new flashpoints, a new daily area, a new recurring event. Did you talk about the event?
No, we haven't revealed any details about the event, though I can say that
a little bit.
As long as you're level 15 or higher, you'll be able to participate.
15.
15?
1-5.
1-5.
Awesome.
And it is a very cool event. We're very excited about it.
Yeah. So a new event that they haven't seen before.
Brand new.
Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. And also, I think you've seen a little bit of information come out about the new graphical upgrades that we're talking about and working on right now. It's fantastic stuff. I don't want to overplay it too much. It just really cleans up the way that the game looks, brings sharpness to the game that you guys haven't seen before. So that's also coming in version 2.3.
Yep.
And then beyond that, have you talked
Actually,
about
you missed one thing I'd like to hop back to.
What did I
So
miss?
we are going to also do a rerun of the GREE event. However, per community request, we are increasing the level of the content to 55. We're looking at adding a nightmare mode to that, and we are also right now testing, and this is still theoretical, but we're looking at doing a level 50 bolster in there. So as long as you're level 50 or up, you can participate as always. All good stuff there.
And
so
you guys, it won't exclude anybody that's sitting at level 50. Basically.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you guys can expect to see more and more of these types of events, both new and old beloved events that you guys have seen in the past, start to go into rotation in the game in the next couple of months.
Sure. And one of the things I know that a lot of people look for is, we give a little bit of general information. We're like, oh, new flashpoints, but we don't really say anything specific. Do you want to tell everyone about our Cantina Tour initiative that we have for the rest of the year?
That's a good one.
So that's a great one. So we have this Cantina Tour that we do at least once a month for the rest of the year.
Almost. In fact, the schedule's going to get really crazy
August,
soon.
I think there's
August
three
is three of them in August.
So this is where we come to a city, hopefully near you, invite anybody who wants to come and talk to the developers, come and see some of the new and interesting things that we're going to do. And as a special initiative, one of the things that we're going to start doing, in fact, in this next week for the first time, is we're going to start giving exclusives to you guys, the players, before anybody else sees them when you come to these events. So these are exclusive materials. We'll give you a thumb drive. It says Star Wars: Old Republic. It's pretty cool, actually. And they'll have unique new assets on them that you'll be able to see and talk about to everybody else. So one of the reasons we're not talking in depth about 2.3 is because at the Cantina event on Thursday this week.
It's Thursday next week, yeah. Oh no, this week. Holy. Well, that is next week.
You're flying.
I get on a plane in 2 days.
In 3 days, there's going to be some exclusive information come out of that Cantina event about version 2.3, and you'll start to see more of this as we move forward about each one of the versions.
Yep. So I would definitely look forward to that to the rest of the
Cover
year.
that?
Yeah, and I know we haven't announced exact dates on all of our Cantina tours for the rest of the year, but we'll be doing that very soon because we're starting to lock a lot more of those
Where
down.
can they find that information at?
You can find all that information. The easiest place to find that information actually is usually go to our Facebook page, even if you don't use Facebook, and go to the events tab of our Facebook page, and you'll see all of the upcoming events. Like right now we have our LA event, and we have the information on our San Diego event for next year.
Perfect.
And so as we get closer to August, you guys will be able to see that information as well.
Perfect. I think we really do have something for everyone this summer. High level, low level, new player, old player, subscribers, frequent players. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming up.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we dive into some of the questions that people have been shooting at us?
All right. Like a plan.
And I will apologize in advance if I horribly mispronounce any of your usernames because that is something that everyone always does. So this comes from T-Man AC.
Nice.
So his question is, at the end of Scum and Villainy, when you defeat Styrak, it's pretty clear that we have to defend the galaxy from the remaining 5 Dreadmasters. Can we expect to see them only in new operations? Or is it your plan to release some of them in other aspects of the game, such as flashpoints or maybe special quest lines?
Well, here's what I can say. We are definitely not done with the Dreadmasters.
All right, I think T-Man can probably settle for that answer.
What you guys don't see, by the way, is that behind the camera, there's a line of marketing people with crossbows. And if we say the wrong thing, well, it's going to be bloody.
All right, this question comes from Ulrich Fossbauer. When are cross-server PvP Warzones coming? He says it's boring to always play on the same server.
I thought didn't we already talk about this?
We did talk about this a little bit in the forums, but I think a lot of people may have missed it, and I figured this is a good opportunity for us to, Bruce to expand on it.
Absolutely. So the cross-server queuing, we've already mentioned on the forums, is very challenging. And so it's not something that we're currently working on. It's definitely not off the table. However, the root problem there is queue times, especially ranked Warzone queue times, but queue times in general. And what we are doing is taking a very aggressive move to resolve those. In-game update 2.4, which I've hinted at, has some PvP features and focus. Game update 2.4 actually has more than just PvP, but it is the most significant PvP update that we will have done since launch. And if you are a ranked Warzone player, you'll really like it.
There should be. I mean,
That's probably enough.
I'm excited that you said all that because I know because as soon as you hinted at
I was waiting for the Crossserver.
Sure. I mean, as soon as we hinted at at 2.4 having PvP in it, we started to get a whole lot of questions about like, tell us more, tell us lots of specifics, and I know sometimes we can't always do that, but I think we're doing a really good job of letting people know that like if you really like PvP, I think you will. Yeah. I think you will really like PvP. Yeah. I think you will really like 2.4. I think that's very safe to say.
Yeah. And queue times will specifically be addressed in that update. So.
Sure. And we really aren't trying to be coy about this stuff. Yeah. Like some of the stuff is still in development, some of it is still in discussion. Like it's hard to talk about everything we think about. Yep. Much less everything we're working with.
We're here to talk today about 2.2.
Yep.
We want to spend on the table.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Pounding on the table.
Bad.
So, totally different change of pace question, but because this is something that we saw a lot in the forums, it was around when we were building up closer to 2.1, but this question comes from Izori. Did the Cathar sell well enough to mean that we will see a new species? And if so, which one and when?
That's a great question. I think that all of you can see that the Cathar were pretty popular. If you go and go in the game and look at all the Cathar running around at this point. So the Cathar definitely were popular amongst the players. Will we see a new species? I think the answer is yes. I can't give you a time on it. They're actually really hard to make. They take a long time to go through the entire process, whether it's the art process or the approvals process, deciding what we want to do. But I can tell you this, there's active conversation going on internally about it. We have a list of kind of the 3 that have floated to the top that we all look at and go, what are the people on the forum saying? What do we think? How hard is it to build? How can we integrate it with the game and with the lore of the game? And I think there's a very, very good chance that you're going to see something like that in the future. I will caveat it with this. It's not going to be soon. It takes a long time to do new species. So I don't even have I truly do not have a time frame on it at all. I have no idea. But definitely want to do it.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Okay, so this question comes from Kay Winnett, and this is another question that we kind of saw a bit coming off of 2.1 as we started to go into 2.2. And I think it's a really good question because I think we have some really good answers for it, actually. What are your plans for making subscribers feel like valued customers and ensuring the subscription is worth paying?
We heard this a lot, especially around 2.1, as you can imagine, but we've heard it from the very beginning. Remember when we were talking about going free-to-play. Let me give a broad answer, and then I can hand over to Bruce, and I think he can go into a little bit more detail. So subscribers are super important to us as our free-to-play players, and that's kind of the balance that we always have to think about. Subscribers pay us a monthly subscription fee, and so we are always trying to think about how we make that subscription have a high value. I don't know if we hit that mark in 2.1. Like, you guys didn't think so, obviously, or a lot of you didn't. So we've redoubled our efforts internally to think about ways that we can make the subscriber feel valued, ways that we can, when something comes out in a patch, we look at it and go, is that a subscriber value? Is that a free-to-play value? What's the balance? I think, for example, I'm going to steal your show a little bit. So I think in July, we've got something you guys are going to see right around the weekend of the 4th, is that right? Right around the weekend of the 4th.
We have two things in July.
That's going to be, it's going to be a subscriber-only benefit that's going to come to you guys in July that we're going to kind of try out with you and see what you think of it. And then near the end of July,
like it.
Near the end of July, we're going to do a similar thing. And we're constantly thinking about new ways that we can provide the subscription, the subscriber's value for the subscription. Is that okay?
I think that's an absolutely fair answer.
So I think what you can count on is moving forward, we're going to be very thoughtful about this. We do not want you guys to feel frustrated with your subscription, of course.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, I can only speak personally. I know that, like, following 2.1, I mean, I know we had literal meetings that were solely around this topic. Like, what can we do to make sure that there's inherent value moving forward? So it's definitely something that we're aware of. Yep. This question comes from Drinking Cleric.
Yes,
we kind of hit around this a little bit, but I'm sure there's probably more we can extrapolate on, which is SWTOR, when will we see the Grand Acquisition Race or the Rackle Plague events coming back?
So, as mentioned, there is a new event in Game Update 2.4, which is
2.3.
2.3, sorry, which August 6th. That event is something entirely new. It is not the Grand Acquisition Race, and it is not the Rackle Plague. In fact, the Rackle Plague have it on good authority, has been eliminated from the galaxy. It's been eradicated. There's no chance of another plague outbreak. I'm like 99%.
That's what they always say.
Okay,
No
well,
plague.
there might be maybe another.
It just takes one person. It just takes one.
There is
One
that.
person.
I've seen it on the fleet.
Do you want to make sure that they're clear that the new event that's coming, though the version happens in, what is it, August
That's
6th?
good. Yeah, that's a good point.
The event actually might not activate. till
Yeah,
that
the
day.
event will probably start the week after.
Just to be clear.
13th. Yeah.
Sure. And just
I have a question around that. Will there be a way to transfer the DNA from the Rackle event into other things for the new event for people that have been holding on to it?
let me reiterate the question, just as you guys couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
The question is, so during the original Rackle event, the currency that you used to purchase things was Rackle DNA. The question that we got from the stream, I'm not sure who exactly it was from, but was, will there be anything in the event that this horrible plague comes back? Will there be anything that someone can do with this? Which it won't. I mean, there's no way it will. That
See,
someone
that's
should do
the problem
something.
with the original Rackle event. We have all this DNA floating around the galaxy, and who knows
Yeah.
whose hands they've fallen into. But no, I can't give details on that yet.
Fair. That's good. That's good. But I mean, the plague's not going to come back, so it's not going to matter.
Exactly.
It's just not going to matter.
Nothing
But you might want to hold on to
Yes.
your DNA,
You might.
just in case the
Yep.
unheard of happens.
Yes.
Something we can. Do we have any other questions from the stream, Amber?
People are asking about SSSP a lot.
So we get this question. Oh, we can ask it. That's fine because we'll give the same answer we always give. But we get it's a question that we get answered a lot. Usually outside of I can't say outside of an official capacity, but we get asked it a lot at meet and greet events. It's something that we had that had been mentioned at one point, and people will always ask about it. Is what is the status on the super secret space project?
Oh, SSSP.
We never,
Yeah.
ever should have ever talked to it. So now it just sounds like we're like being mean to you guys by not telling anything about it. Boy, let me think about it before the meet and greet in 3 days. Let me see if I can come up with something to give you guys. I don't have anything off the top of my head. It really is pretty secret, mostly because we don't have a time frame on it really yet. We haven't announced anything about it yet, but it is something that is very important to
I think
us.
the key is that we hear from all the community is yes, it exists. I think that's something that.
And it's something that we're doing specifically based upon your guys' feedback. The things that you have said you want are what we're basing our development off of. I don't know how else
That's
to
okay.
go with that. But I'll try to come up with something next time for you
Sure.
guys. I apologize.
No,
I'm
that's
not
it.
trying to lead you on.
Yep.
It's there.
Okay. So one of the things that that's fine. So one of the things that we get a lot of questions about around PvP as well, because we have the Crossserver PvP question. But one of the things we get a lot of questions with around the game is, aside from just future content with PvP, but the current status of PvP. That we've had some bugs with Bolster that we've been working with through McClain launched, and we're constantly fixing those as we find them. But one of the other things we get a lot of questions about very specifically is /stuck. That it's been a frustration. It's definitely been a source of frustration for some people in Warzones. Do we have anything for /stuck?
Actually, we do. So, so in game update 2.2.1, which is weekly after 2.2, we have a change coming in for stuck. That if you are in combat and you're in a war zone and you use /stuck, it forces a 20-second cooldown on you, so that you can't actually res right away and exploit stuck the old, nasty, dirty way. So that actually just got checked. That code has just been checked in. So assuming it all checks out and everything, that you'll see that in a couple weeks. So
And that's definitely the kind of change that we've done. That we've definitely looked at player feedback specifically on how the best way to address it, right?
Absolutely.
Because I mean,
Yep.
/stuck is something
yeah,
that we
and in
definitely
fact,
saw a lot of.
as you know, in the PvP community is well aware of.
Is that for war zones or is that for all combat?
That's for war zones.
Yeah.
Great question.
So the follow-up question was the /stuck change that Bruce just explained. Will that only happen inside of a war zone, or if you are
Yep.
outside of a war zone, you type /stuck?
Only war zones.
Yeah. So that'll have no effect on the normal game for someone. Basically.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh well, I had
Sorry.
lost
Your train of thought is
train of thought.
It is
Derailed
lost.
by Amber.
It's all good.
But it was a good
Any other
question.
questions?
So it was good.
Yeah, so let me know if you have anything else from the stream, Amber. Otherwise, we have one more question that we had gathered from the forums beforehand. And this is strictly for Bruce, specifically for you. This comes from Evuo, I'm going to say, and I know I butchered that, so I apologize, is when is the next time Bruce McClain will be featured in a game update / developer dispatch / the Old Republic Insider video? I thoroughly enjoyed his appearances.
Well, I thoroughly enjoy appearing.
Isn't that happening right now?
Actually, we're filming the next one tomorrow.
That's funny. He is actually on camera right now, right?
So like now, here he is.
I should have responded to that person and been like, you should probably watch the stream because Bruce will be appearing on
it. Anyways, we are going to be filming the next one tomorrow, and I'll be in it. It'll be Corey and I sitting together this time. Better format, I think. So, yeah.
So it'll be a little bit more conversation.
Yep, I do enjoy appearing on them.
All right, all right. Amber, do you have anything else from the stream?
Not that I have right now.
Okay. All right. Well,
We're gonna run out of time.
It's
Toggle.
yeah. Do you want
I got nothing on that.
No.
Yeah, it seems like I can.
Yeah, go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will speak the words, which was the question. The thing that we've gotten a lot of questions about there was specifically for hood toggle.
Yeah.
So
So
we have it makes me a liar.
Yeah, because Jeff was like, we're absolutely going to try to do that, but and it's not off the table. However, it's one of those things that would have been great if we had built the game to do that from the very beginning. But now doing that involves going through an immense amount of items work. An immense amount of work.
I think it would be technically a technical solution that could solve it, but actually, no.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. That doesn't mean it's off the table. It just means that right now it's in the list behind other more pressing issues.
That's fair.
I'm an old Dark Age of Camelot person. I love my hood toggle. So is Jeff.
Hallelujah.
That is totally fair. All right. So I guess we'll wrap it up.
Good.
They'll give us a little bit of time to close things out.
Okay.
So at least for my piece, I just want to thank you guys, everyone, for joining us from the stream. I am sure this is the type of thing we'll do in the future, just as we've done it in the past. It's usually our goal. I mean, we had this around Game Update 2.2, but we know just like anything else with an MMO, like it's a fluid environment. So one of the things you guys always want to know the most about is what's coming. Hopefully we did a pretty good job today of telling you guys a little bit more about what's coming. And as Jeff said, like it's been our goal for sure as a studio to make sure that we give you as much information in advance now as we can. I mean, when Bruce made his summer SWTOR post, I mean, we talked about that we hinted that there were PvP changes coming in Game Update 2.4, and I can't remember a time in the history of our game where we were that specific, even though I know that's pretty general, but that we were even that specific 3 game updates in advance.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're making great strides.
And we're going to try to do this more and more. Bruce Bruce and I talk a lot about this specific thing, giving you guys more information. Be looking for more information like this and specific information from Bruce as we move forward.
Yep. I would like to add one thing. Special thank you to the guilds that play tested on this latest public test run. It was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know sometimes it's hard for players to see how much your feedback actually matters. I think it's hard because a lot of people, they'll give feedback on something and then it won't necessarily change exactly how they envisioned it or something like that. But I can tell you specifically because my job is to be the bridge between the community and the developers. Like, I cannot express to you in words how important it is that you guys get on PTS and give us feedback. And I mean, give us feedback about anything and everything that you think is important. But PTS especially. I mean, we reverted the stun break change because that was clear that a lot of people just didn't really feel like that was the right approach. And that immediately came up in the PvP discussions. I know I went over into to talk to the PvP and combat guys, and that player feedback was, I mean, the cornerstone of that change.
That's a perfect example of the purpose of public tests. Is allow us to get these changes out, see how they perform, and if they're not ready yet, then we pull them back. That's how they are.
That's right.
So as always, I mean, as we continue to release information going down the line, because I know we're still a little bit general about some of this stuff, but again, as you guys know, there'll be some more information coming out about 2.3 following our LA event on Thursday, which if you are in the LA area, it's going to be at the Kenya Rum Bar from 8 to 11 p.m. I don't know the address. I feel like I should have it memorized, but I don't. But you can find all that information on our website.
If you come and you're old enough to drink, I'll buy you a drink.
Jeff will be there.
It's true.
Buying you drinks.
Do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap the live stream up?
No.
Jeff will buy you a drink.
I'll answer your questions though while you're there.
That's true. That is true. And I highly recommend, like, if you've never been to one of these Cantina Tour events,
they're awesome.
I mean, I know I was on a fan site right before I even worked at BioWare, and coming to those meet and greet events were the coolest coolest thing ever, because like when you get to sit down and talk to a developer, like it's very different when they're, you know, at BioWare, and it's hard to think of them as like just another guy who just loves video games and is in this for a living and for fun, and it's really cool to just talk about. And that's where you can get a lot of your, because everyone has their own personal things that they want to talk about the game and get addressed, and these events are the perfect place to get that answered. Yeah. Which is why we're trying to hit as many cities as we can all over the place.
Good.
All right. Well, everyone, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully you enjoyed our Game Update 2.2 live stream, and we will see you guys next time. May the Force be with you. I feel like we have to throw that out there, right? May the Force be with you.